And I'm gonna get this going one more time. Y'all start on tap that screen, y'all. Tap that screen, tap, tap, tappity tap. Let's try to get some folks in here. Unfortunately, I had some technical difficulties, so we had to go ahead and start this over again. What up, Neil? First time catching me? Yeah, I appreciate that. First time catching me, definitely stay around. We have we have fun. We have lots of fun here. It gets a little crazy, but we have lots and lots of fun here. Once again, y'all, I do apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm just gonna have to go ahead and do this the way it is for now. If you would like to talk to me, you have to join me over on TikTok. If you'd like to talk to me, you have to join me over on TikTok. Once again, y'all, I do apologize for the live going down the last time. I just couldn't get it working. But I just couldn't get it working. So we're gonna go ahead and get it catching. I said get it catching. I'm gonna go ahead and get it popping, and go ahead and get that mission done, get that mission completed. Hopefully, we can still go ahead and catch some folks. Hopefully, we can go ahead and still catch some folks and see if they will like to come in. Now, I'm going to just a quick shout out to Coco. Y'all follow Coco, the Controversial Compass, because we are going to be live on his channel tomorrow. I'm going to be having a live formal debate tomorrow on Coco's channel. That's going to be amazing. Shout out to Coco. Shout out to the amazing. Shout out to the Controversial Compass. His name is Coco. Go ahead and look for the Controversial Compass for the day of debates. We're going to be debating tomorrow. I'm going to be debating on the subject of America was never great. We're going to be debating on that subject tomorrow. Probably why I switched up the topic now, because I don't want to use up all of my bars, because I got some bars for tomorrow. I don't want to use them all up. But once again, if you're watching me over on a Deconstruction Junction, the last live went down. I do apologize for that. I had some technical. Appreciate the hat and mustache. Yeehaw. Yeehaw for the hat and mustache. If you were on the Deconstruction Junction, you saw the live go down. That's because that I had technical difficulties. I had to go ahead and get that fixed first before I can continue. That's what happened there. And if you're watching me over on the Volsy Thoughts channel, that's also what happened. I just had some technical difficulties, so things went down. Yeehaw! I hit the live goal. Hey, I appreciate y'all helping me hit that live goal, man. Appreciate y'all helping me hit that live goal. We are still waiting for some guests to come in. We're still waiting for some guests to come in. We're gonna go ahead and get some more gifts going. Hey, I appreciate the gifts, y'all. Appreciate the gifts. Let's go. Gift those up, y'all. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Y'all. Let's try to get some folks in here, because we are going to try to let me do the drop-in guest. That drop-in guest feature actually had some people coming in, so we're gonna go ahead and do the drop-in guest feature to see who comes in and who would like to come up, who would like to go ahead and discuss. We're gonna see who's gonna come in and go and discuss. So once again, if you're watching over on the YouTubes, the reason why it went down is because I just had some technical difficulties, but we're gonna go ahead and try to get the mission completed. Dago, how's it going, Dago, over on my TikTok? Dago, I'm not rage baiting. I actually do believe in what I have up on my board. If you disagree, go ahead and click on the guest request button and we could talk. All right, Clay. Clay, you as well. Come on up, Clay. Let's go ahead and talk about the policies that I think that the left should employ, or the leftist policies that I think are better for society, better for the people. Hey, shout out to Resist. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Resist, you're amazing. I appreciate you. Clay, go ahead and come on up if you would like to speak about that. Once again, I don't have the call-in number tonight. I will probably have the call-in number sometime next week. Hey, how's it going, Clay? Clay, how's it going? Are you at least 18? And
Yes,
what did you want to talk about?
I was just wondering what the left policies are better for society than, I would say, the right policies.
Yeah, sure. Universal healthcare, universal education, investment into renewable energy, a more of a focus on like things like maternal and paternal leave, things that are more focused on people that will not only cause them to be healthier and more productive, but decrease their stress, decrease their mental health issues, things of that matter. I think those are better for society.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree. But I mean, some of the left's policies are kind of weird, like the men competing in women's sports. Do you agree with that?
I think that should be left up to the scientific community, because right now we don't have a lot of information on. We do have the general information that males.
I mean, I think we do. I mean, men are stronger than women.
Yeah, right. But Clay, so we do have that information, right? I was gonna get into that. Yeah, males are on average stronger than women. We all know that. Males on average are stronger than females. We know that, right? The question then becomes, if they don't go through male puberty and they get their or they go through hormone therapy, et cetera, does it equal out? The research that we have so far says in some cases it does, but in some cases it doesn't. We don't have a lot of research yet, so we need to see, like, we're probably going to need like at least a decade of maybe a decade or two of this type of studies, of this type of research, to show, does the hormone therapy, does transitioning equal out these outcomes? And if they do, all right, what do we do next? And if they don't, then what do we do? You see what I'm saying? Right now, we just don't have a lot of information. It's mixed. So let's wait until that happens first, and to the sports community lets us know what to do. Right now, I think what the Olympics has done is ban trans women from sports, because like there's just not enough information to see if it's fair or not. And if that's the case, that's the case. You know, I mean, I don't want to argue against them.
Will tell you, it's like if LeBron James puts on a wig and says he's a woman, he's going to score 1,000 points a game in a WNBA contest.
Yeah, but the problem that with that is that LeBron James has already been through male puberty. He's already been through it. Yeah, I mean, so
but a lot of these people transitioning are past puberty.
Right, they're past puberty, but they're on hormone therapy, and the question is, does that equal out the outcomes? And what we've been finding is that sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. It's just a mixed bag right now. So we need more information. Yeah, I mean, until instead of just throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Do you think a child should be able to change his sex?
A child? No, no one does.
No, that's not true. The left does.
No, they don't.
They want sex changes for children.
No, we don't.
I would disagree on that.
Who are you talking about?
I can't give specifics, but I've heard it. I've heard the rhetoric on both sides.
Yeah, of course the right is going to say that the left. Gavin Newsom, that's Gavin Newsom. So like, who cares? Gavin Newsom
he's probably
Gavin Newsom.
He might be our next president.
He might be our next president. That doesn't make him a leftist.
He's pretty much a leftist. He's from California.
Not really.
He's a Democrat.
He's a Democrat.
I consider most Democrats leftists, and most
they're not.
They're not.
They're not.
Okay.
Democrats are to the left of the Republican Party, but they're not leftists. Because the only Democrats right now that are pushing to have a single payer are AOC, Bernie Sanders, and a few others. The rest of them want to reform our private system. None of them are going for universal health care. They can't even get universal health care.
I don't think we could afford universal health care with all the money we spend on military. You would have to cut back somewhere.
Yes. Let's cut back on the military.
I would agree with that.
Mhm. Right. So, what I'm saying that when it comes to the left side of things, right? No one, like, unless you're acting a nutso, no one says that a 5-year-old Tommy should cut his pee off because he went to a Halloween party dressed as Elsa from Frozen. No one is doing that. I mean, the things are way more complicated than that. Or I will say, let me clarify this. No rational person is saying that. Of course, you're going to have irrational people, but no rational person is saying, Lil Tommy, who dressed as a princess for Halloween, he now should, chop off his body parts when he's turned 6. Like, no one is saying that. No rational person is saying that. What we are saying is that if Tommy says that, no, I'm not Tommy, I'm Tamara, and that statement lasts for another 2 or 3 years, or at least more than 6 months, then something's going on with Tommy. We should go ahead and take him to a therapist. We should see what's happening, thing like that, because transgender is not just something that people will wake up with and say that they are, right? It's something that's internal. It happens internally. There's neurochemistry involved.
There's something going on, mentally,
Yes, exactly. But it's not something that needs to be like fixed. Like homosexuals didn't need to be fixed. I mean, it's just that's something that happens internally. Something with transgender people, they don't need to be fixed or anything like that. It's just that their gender is incongruent with their sex. That's just a normal human disposition. That's just what nature does. Nature is weird. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Did you want to talk about anything else?
No, I'm good.
All right, cool. Hey, Clay, I appreciate you.
Appreciate the show.
Not a problem. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right, guys. Once again, I do appreciate you all. One thing I have seen is that most people agree with leftist policies. It always just comes down to the transgender issue, and the transgender issue is not well understood. I mean, even by me, there's probably mistakes that I made when I was just talking about that, which is why I don't talk about it a lot. Yeah, I mean, so it's like it's not well understood, and I think we need to try to understand it, and instead of just throwing out the baby with the bathwater, let's try to understand what's happening here instead of just calling people crazy. You know what I mean? All right, we have another guest. And what happened to the? Oh, okay. Yeah, he's that was a mistake. All right, guys, I do appreciate y'all being here once again. If you're watching over from the Deconstruction Junction, ooh, it did not go live on Deconstruction Junction. Why did it not go live on Deconstruction Junction? Oh, it did. Okay, never mind. All right, yeah. So if you're watching me from Deconstruction Junction, I appreciate you. The link is pinned to follow to go ahead and discuss with me. You can link the link is right there on the bottom. You can go ahead and talk to me there. Go ahead and call in. I don't have the call-in number pinned today because been having issues with that, but we're gonna bring that back up soon. We're gonna bring up the call-in number back in soon, and once we have that call-in number, then we can really start having fun, because people who can't join the TikTok will be able to call in and actually speak to me over the phone. What I've been trying to do, the reason why the live went down the last time, what I've been trying to do is have everyone hear each other, right? From the TikTok to my computer, all of that. I've been trying to have everyone hear each other, but it wasn't working, unfortunately. I need to grab some other equipment. Yeah, right. It just wasn't working. And honestly, I don't know why. I thought it would work out this time because I was able to hear everything. It was coming through my mixer. So I thought everybody would be able to hear each other this time, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So I'm not sure why that is. I don't know what I need to do. I don't know if I need to do I don't know, man. I'm not sure what I need to do. But I'll figure it out somehow, some way. One day I'm gonna figure this all out for everybody to hear each other, or I just need to get a completely different computer. Y'all, thank you for subscribing. All right, War Daddy, That's a funny name. All right, so War Daddy over on my YouTube. If you want to go ahead and talk, go ahead and click on the link. Let me go ahead and put that link up right now. See that I didn't put it over on my YouTube. Go ahead and put that link up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put that link up over on my YouTube. All right, y'all. So keep tapping that screen. Tap, tappity, tap that screen. Tap in. I'm gonna go ahead and be here. I appreciate y'all's. Appreciate y'all's for being here on the live. All right, so Bible with Timo over on my YouTube. Oh, I forgot to put that on the other YouTube as well. Give me a second. Let me go ahead and put that on the other YouTube. All right, I put that on the Black Atheist Coalition YouTube. You can definitely go ahead and click on that link, and we can join in and click on that, so we can have that conversation. I appreciate you wherever you're watching me from, whatever YouTube you're watching me from. Oh, once again, you guys are great. Let's go ahead and tap that screen, y'all. Keep tapping that screen. Let's try to get us to at least 7K likes. Let's get to 7K likes, y'all. Tap that screen so we can go ahead and get some folks in here, get some debates going, and see who would like to have a conversation. There was someone, Dago, down in the chat. For some reason, he just wanted to talk in the chat and not actually come up and have the discussion. But I'm here, y'all. We are here. We are live, and y'all let me know what y'all like to talk about. Let me know if you disagree with what I have on the board, and if you do, go ahead and come on up, and we can talk about it. All right, so Bible with Timo over on my Black Atheist Coalition channel. The all caps is not going to impress me, bro. If you want to actually have a conversation, like you got to click on that link, and then we'll go ahead and talk. Yeah, I mean, because the all caps is not gonna make me pay attention to you more. I'm not sure why you're doing that. But yes, we're having a discussion here, y'all. I think leftist policies are better for society, and I want a good reason to believe in a God. Web links? Let me see. Let me see. Where's the settings for web links? Let me go ahead and edit this. Chat. Reactions. There's no message delay. Frequency of the medium. All right, I'll try to find that later. But yeah, while I'm gonna try to find that in a second. We'll see if I can enable what it looks like. It should just be fine. They should be able to like click on the link. Not sure why it will have any problems. But hey, what's going on, y'all? Shay, how's it going, Shay? How's it going, Shay? All right, I'm just waiting for folks to come in. I appreciate you sharing it out, Shay. We're just waiting for folks to come in. If I don't get a lot of folks, then I will have no choice but to talk to the comments, which I don't like doing because, of course, happy to see you too, Shay. I appreciate it. I don't like talking to comments too much because, you know, by the time I finish saying what I'm saying, they're going to say something else. It's gonna waste of time. But I appreciate everyone who's here. All right, so Adam says leftist policies lets criminals out of jail, 40, 50, 60, 90 arrests and not in jail. That depends on what the arrests are for. Because you could technically get arrested for jaywalking, but you're not gonna get put in jail for that, even if that happens a lot. You know, I mean, it's gonna keep giving you tickets. Now, if you never pay your tickets, then you could, possibly get arrested for that because you never paid your tickets. But getting arrested doesn't mean you're gonna get jail time. You should just cook food in China. They get 10K. Yeah, yeah. The Chinese be killing it. The Chinese be getting all type of folks on their live. But yeah, we're just here waiting it. We're just here waiting out the seeing if everyone would like to come up. All right, so Bible with Timo over on my Black Atheist Coalition YouTube. Instead of just crashing out in the comments, you can clearly or easily just look at that link, click on it, and then go ahead and come over here to TikTok to have that discussion. I don't have, what's that thing called again? I don't have the call-in line right now. I don't have a way to talk to y'all at the moment. I don't have a way to route the audio from my phone into my computer. I thought I would. I thought I would have that by tonight, but unfortunately, I don't have that. I thought I would have that by tonight, but unfortunately, I just don't. So we're just gonna be here talking on TikTok. Go ahead and click on that link. You too, Adam. Adam over on saying that the girl on the train that was stabbed to death. I know what happened with that. The thing is, we typically don't put people who are not mentally competent in jail. You kind of put them into asylums. And if they're not mentally competent, then they can't stand trial. So the person that you're talking about that was stabbed on the train, he can't stand trial. You know what I mean? Because he's not mentally competent. Now, should he have been in an asylum? Yeah, he should have been in an asylum. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they should have let him out in the street. He should have been in an asylum. Because he's violent, he's dangerous. You know what I mean? But that's not a leftist policy. That's been a policy that's been around for a while. That if a person is not mentally capable, you don't make them stand trial. You don't put them in jail. That's always been the case. That's not really a leftist thing. That's basically what our entire criminal justice system is based off of. And the reason is based off of that is because if you don't do that, of course, it's going to be rife with abuse. You know what I mean? I have no clue how many times he was arrested, but he should have been in an insane asylum, sure. But it has nothing to do with the left. That's a failure of the system. All right, y'all. So once again, I appreciate y'all. I'm just waiting for some folks to come in. Just waiting for anybody who would like to talk. Yeah, all the ops finding out they were wrong. Yeah, true. Keep tapping that screen, y'all. Keep tapping that screen. Keep liking it. Humanists shouldn't be classifying. I mean, if you call yourself a humanist, you're classifying already. I'm not sure what you're getting at there, Joe. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. So what I've been trying to do, y'all, is so because TikTok doesn't usually like you using TikTok Studio, what I've been trying to do is go ahead and do everything on my phone, right? So what I've been trying to do is have the audio from my phone route to my computer and from my computer back to the phone. I've been trying to do that, but it ain't been working. You know what I mean? It ain't been working. I tried that twice. You know what I mean? I tried that 2 times. Thought I had it all down packed, and unfortunately, I don't. It just hasn't been working. So I need to get some other equipment somehow, some way. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna get the mixer that I need. I'm gonna get the not the soundboard. I'm gonna get the piece of equipment that I need to make sure everything routes through perfectly. Because right now, for some reason, it's just not routing, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I wish I could do that tonight. So I can take up some guests over on my StreamYard, and then we will all be able to, the interface. There we go, the audio interface. Because right now I have the iRig Stream. I need iRig Stream Pro on apparently. Hey, appreciate the gifts. Apparently I need iRig Stream Pro in order for the interface to get the audio from my phone to the computer, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, TikTok Studio always has that issue. For some reason, they rolled out TikTok Studio, but then when folks started using it, they throttle their views and force everybody to go back to using their phone. It's really weird. It's like I don't get that. Like, I'm on TikTok Studio, I'm using TikTok Studio, then all of a sudden my views crash. And then when I go ahead and go back on my phone, I get guests and my views go back up. But right now, just like what's happening tonight, they probably want me to go back on TikTok Studio because using my phone, now I don't get any guests. It's crazy. They bring you back and forth between all this, and it's kind of insane. I don't know why why TikTok is like this. I hope they get it together. And I don't think they will, unfortunately, because now they're owned by Oracle, and Oracle ain't got it together at all. They laid off a whole bunch of folks. So Oracle ain't got it together either. So yeah, some folks use Video Ninja. Video Ninja. Video Ninja isn't bad. None of that is bad, right? None of that equipment is bad. The thing that I'm having issue with is that once I use TikTok Studio for like 2, 3, 4 weeks, all of a sudden it doesn't push out my live anymore. I don't get the guests anymore, and it forces me to go back to the phone. You know what I mean? And it's just weird, man. I don't know what that is. It's just super weird. Yeah, just super frustrating, super weird. I don't get it. All right, so it's been a while since I had a guest. So what I may do in the next couple of minutes, I think I'm gonna go ahead and hit a quick reset. The YouTube, you're still gonna over on YouTube on Deconstruction Junction, on Volsy Thoughts and Black Atheist Coalition, you're still gonna be seeing the live, right? I'm just gonna be doing a reset over on the TikTok area. Yeah, we have Xander Holland. So Xander Hollins, you could go ahead and click on that link that's on the bottom. Go ahead and click on that link, and then you could go ahead and come on up, and then we could go ahead and have that conversation and talk about that if you would like to. All right, so in a couple of minutes, I'm gonna hit a quick reset. Over on the YouTube, like I said, you're still gonna see it. You're still gonna see it over on YouTube. It's just going to blank out for a little bit. You're still gonna see it over on YouTube. I'm just doing a reset because I'm just not getting the guests. So looks like TikTok is not sending it out. It looks like TikTok is not sending out the live. So I'm going to hit a quick reset just in a bit. If we wait a few minutes and we see that there's no one coming in, I appreciate everybody who's watching right now. I appreciate y'all who are liking, making sure that you're liking. No Love Drew, I appreciate you, No Love Drew. I appreciate No Love Drew for liking. But I'm gonna hit a quick reset in a bit. All right. I'm gonna hit a quick reset just in a second because we're still waiting for folks to come in, and looks like TikTok just hasn't sent out the live, so we just gotta hit that reset, y'all. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit a reset. Over on YouTube, y'all still gonna see it. It's just over here on TikTok is gonna be a quick reset. Y'all gonna see my my TikTok page, and then I will put the new link in for where the live is. All right, so I'm gonna hit a quick reset. Shay, I appreciate you, Shay. Go ahead and come back. No Love Drew, go ahead and come back. I'm gonna go ahead and hit a quick reset. All right, guys, be right back.
Put the whole, can Rosie Medina Kiwi? No, Kiwi probably can't yet. Oh man, I'm jealous. Alma just did the matcha facial. Girl, my skin felt so.
Let's go ahead and do this. All right, y'all. All right, and we are back. All right, and we are back. We is back. All right, y'all. We's back. We's back. We are back. All right, y'all. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. All right, so I had to do a quick reset over on the TikTok because we just weren't getting any guests. So that means that YouTube. I mean, I say YouTube. That means TikTok wasn't sending it out there. TikTok wasn't sending it out to the algo. So TikTok was not sending it out to the algo. So I had to do a quick reset in order for us to go ahead and see if the algo will reset it, and then we'll go ahead and get the guests. All right, yeah, because I was sitting around for like 7 to 10 minutes waiting for guests, and none was coming in. So we were just what I did was hit what was that called as a reset. All right, and then when you reset it, it typically tends to work. When you reset it, that typically tends to work. That's the algorithm will go ahead and send it back out to people. It'll refresh you and put you back out there. It's a really weird thing that this damn app does, and it's very, very frustrating. But we have to go ahead and give the sacrifices to the algorithm gods. We have to go ahead and give sacrifices to the algorithm gods. So which means we got to waste our time in, going through this entire process again. Stopping the live, bringing it back up, liking it, making sure that people see it, making sure that it's shared everywhere. Sacrificing to the algo gods once again. All right, y'all. So it's been kind of a night. All right, y'all. So tomorrow, I need to promote this real quick. Tomorrow, I'm going to be live with Coco, the controversial compass. Tomorrow, I'm going to be live with the controversial compass, and we're going to be talking about. They've been shadow banned like crazy. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. I thought they've been shadow banned. But yeah, so tomorrow I'm gonna be debating one of my favorite topics, which was America was never great. We're gonna be debating that tomorrow over on the controversial compass. And I hope you all could be there. Hope you all could be there. It's gonna be at 7 p.m. It's gonna be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Over on the controversial compass. Y'all remember to go over there for the controversial compass for the day of debates. Tomorrow is going to be finally a productive discussion because it's going to be moderated. We're going to be able to get our pieces out and everything like that. So I went ahead and linked the went ahead and linked it again in the chat over on the YouTubes. Hopefully, y'all, we can go ahead and get some people now. Someone just told me that it's been shadow banned like crazy over on TikTok. Don't know why that is. That sucks. I don't know why that is. That sucks. Well, I'll just have to try to get some some guests, We just got to be here. Hopefully the guests come in. What I've started is doing a drop-in guest feature. So people can go ahead and come in and a lot of times when they request, they could automatically come up. So hopefully that's sending it out everywhere. Usually when it gets like this, I will talk to the comments just to have the engagement, have the live engaging. So y'all remember to keep liking this. Keep liking this. Y'all share this out. Y'all share this out so we can go ahead and get some folks in here, have some debates going. Since it's Thursday night, I do see what I may do actually. It's also I could join someone else's live. So if this keeps going like this, all right, if we just can't get anybody, what I'll probably do is I may join someone else's live and we'll see what happens. Hey, Randall, how's it going, Randall?
Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm all right. Are you at least 18? And what did you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm 18. I'm not 18. I'm above 18, that is. Point two, the reason to believe in God, right?
Yeah, sure. Well, what's a good reason to believe in a God?
Well, because without God, you can't establish morality.
How so?
So I would argue that, morality is not subjective. It is objective, and that comes from God.
How do you show that to be true?
Yeah, because we can objectively come to the conclusion that a certain act is wrong. And how is that possible?
Through its consequences, like its measurable consequences.
Well, what if someone doesn't see it that way? Would that change the outcome?
No, but that's what I'm saying. The objective that we're looking at is the outcome.
So wait, do you believe morality is all objective or subjective?
Morality is subjective. Even if your God were to exist, morality will still be subjective.
So there's nothing objective, correct?
I'm not going to say there's nothing objective. There are objective things, right? But morality itself is subjective, even if a God were to exist.
So if I see grape in a woman as okay, what evidence can you give me that it's not?
The fact that you violated another woman, the fact that you traumatized her, these are all negative consequences. So the consequences are objective. There's objective consequences. What you think about what you did, that's subjective to you, but the consequence is absolutely objective.
So is it objectively true that when a woman commits an abortion, she's harming the child?
No.
So it's subjective, right? Because you just said that harm is objective, correct?
Yeah, harm is objective. Because when you said harming, hold on. When you said harming a child, you loaded the question there because you're equalizing a zygote or a fetus to a person, and that's not necessarily true.
Well, it's a person, is it not?
It's a person in your opinion. It's a life. I'm not going to say that it's not a life, but that doesn't mean it's a person. I think we ascribe personhood more towards your conscious experience, and if something doesn't really have a conscious experience, we don't ascribe personhood to it.
Well,
most times.
Well, a person would mean individual because in that case, the mother's not trying to unalive herself, but someone else. So that would be an individual. So, but
if someone is brain dead. Is it wrong to take them off the machine if they're brain dead?
Yeah, are they coming back?
No, they're not.
Okay, so it's okay.
Right, exactly, because there's no brain activity. Hold on, Randall. Just follow me what I'm saying here. There is no brain activity, right? There's no subjective conscious experience anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, it's not wrong to take off their brain. Now, when it take them off the machines. Now, when it comes to like zygotes and fetuses, they do not have conscious experience.
Okay, so are they brain dead?
They don't have brains yet. That's what I'm saying. Most abortions happen. Hold on. Most abortions happen when they don't have brains. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So if they don't have brains, do they show signs of survival? Like, do they want to live? No, really?
No, they can't survive without the mother doing something.
I'm saying, does the zygote show signs it wants to survive?
No, it just grows.
So it just grows. So when it's growing, it's not showing signs it wants to live.
No, that's simply what zygotes do, bro. What are we saying?
What are the signs? Could you tell me the signs of survival, please?
What are the signs of survival?
Yes.
Science of survival.
Hold on, did you say signs or science?
Signs.
Signs at SIGNS?
Yes.
Oh, signs of survival. Like self-defense, looking for like
Is
food, I guess,
adaptation-
stuff like that.
Is adaptation growth part of it? Is adaptation growth part of it?
Adaptation and growth,
Yeah, is it part of it?
it can be.
Okay, so the zygote is trying to survive, correct?
No, the zygote is simply doing what zygotes do.
So trying to survive, right?
Like,
Bro, this is not a hard question. Why are you struggling, bro?
So-
Just say yes. But anyway,
so hold on, Mark.
bro, this is
So
just, come on.
So zygotes are just simply doing what cells do. I guess you can say, yeah, they're trying to survive, right? The
Is
same
your
way
body-
cancer cells, hold on, the same way cancer cells try to survive. But what's your point?
Is your body doing the same thing as well?
Yeah, okay, what is your point? Let's get to your point.
Okay, my point is you said all harms is objectively a negative effect, correct? But
All
then
harm is objectively a negative effect? No, not
Yeah.
all harm is objectively a negative effect.
so there are some wait, hold on, because my argument was I was talking about how morality is objective, but you said it's all subjective, but then the harm is objective. That's what you said.
I said the consequences are objective.
So the consequences would be
Like
the
what
harm.
happened? No, consequences can be positive. What we see happen when I say consequences, I'm talking about the result of the action.
Okay.
That is what's objective. Now, what you think about that result, that's subjective, and that's what morality is.
Okay, so how do you know the harm is objectively? Sorry, how do you know the consequence is objectively false? How would you prove that?
Because we see it. What the fuck? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm asking, how do you prove that? If everything is subjective, right? How would you prove to me the consequence is objective? How would you prove that?
What? Do you understand what I said when I say consequences, right? Consequences are the result of your action.
Yeah, so
Basically,
how
it
would
could
you
be
prove
positive.
that
or
it's
negative. Hold on,
objectively wrong?
hold on,
That's
Randall.
what I'm
Randall,
asking.
listen, Randall. When I say I'm gonna say this again. The consequences of what you do is objective. The results of your actions, those are objective. What you think about it, that's subjective, and that's what morality is. What people are judging on the results. That's what morality is.
So how
That's
would you
objective.
prove? Again, you're not answering my question. How would you
Mhm.
prove the consequences is objectively wrong? How would you prove that?
You can't. That's what I'm saying. It's based off our preference.
Bro,
You can't prove that you can't prove that something is objectively wrong. We can only go off our preference on what's negative and what's positive. So, like your example of graping somebody, we see what does grape cause? It causes a woman or a man to be traumatized psychologically, emotionally, et cetera, et cetera. We don't prefer those things because it's not conducive to our survival. So
Okay.
we put the label of negative on that, which is why we say, okay, the grape is now negative, is now immoral
So
because
wait,
the
hold on.
consequences, because the consequences are things that we don't prefer. They're negative.
So who puts the labels?
Humans do, we did.
Okay, so all humans that have subjective morality, correct?
Yeah, what morality actually depends on like societies. But yeah, humans have subjective morality, and that's based on typically on our society.
So would you say that if I don't have empathy, obviously I wouldn't care about the consequence of
Yeah, if you don't have
so-
if you don't have empathy, there's an issue with you, right? Because
No,
we're all born with
wait.
empathy.
How do you wait? Can you prove that we're all born with empathy?
No, we're not all born with empathy. There are people
You
who
just
have
said we're all born with
ASPD.
empathy,
Hold
bro.
on, Randall. That's not what I said. Listen to what I'm saying. You need to slow down, bro. Not every single human is born with empathy. 99% of us are, but there are some humans around the 1-2% who have ASPD. They have no empathy at all, right? Which is what psychotic people are. You know, kids who, pick the legs off of cockroaches and kick around kittens and laugh about it. They have no empathy, right? Because this is something wrong with their brain. But 99% of us, at least I would say 98 or at least 95% of us do have empathy. Not all of us have ASPD, right? So if you're someone who was born without empathy, then you have ASPD. But that's
Okay.
not the majority of us.
So if we have empathy, why do people enjoy seeing others going through pain if we're born with empathy?
Because those people are either number one, like I said, are born with ASPD,
you
or
can't
number
prove
two.
That's not
Give me
true.
a second, though. Give me a second. I said two things.
Yo, Randall
Number
is
one-
linked here, by the way.
Give me a second.
Why do you bring this guy up here, man?
I didn't. All right. So number one, the person either has ASPD, or number two, they've been conditioned to not have empathy for that group. That's always been the case. Like, for example, children, if you put them into a room, they're gonna start playing with each other until what happens? The adults tell them that they shouldn't. Right. So, like, for example, what's going on? Hold on. For example, what's the thing that's going on over in the Middle East right now? Let's keep coming up. The thing that's going on in the Middle East right now, Israel and Palestine. If you take a 5-year-old Jewish kid and a 5-year-old Palestinian kid, they're gonna go ahead and play with each other until Netanyahu or someone from Hamas tells them that they shouldn't. Those kids don't have those judgments, until after someone tells them that, right? That's how we know we're all born with this kind of empathetic lens. So the reason why people grow up to enjoy seeing harm in others is, once again, ASPD, or they've been conditioned to not have empathy for that group of people.
So again, I get what you're saying, but I can still circle back to those people that condition these little kids. Where did their conditioning come from? And you would tell me it came from maybe their parents, and we can keep going on.
Yeah, the conditioning before them. We keep going on and on.
So yeah. So it's just going to be circular. It still doesn't answer the question, that I asked initially. But I want to talk about how
trouble tracking conversations, bro.
Sorry, who's talking? It's my time, bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but everybody pause for me real quick. Mark, I'm gonna get you into this in a second. I'm sorry, Mark. Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about what happened on the board or disagreed?
Yeah. So I'm 37, and I'm just trying to track. Like, I think both of you are making some grievous mistakes on both sides of the coin.
Okay, cool. Give me a second. Okay, give me a second. All right. How about you, Big Mike? Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about any of these?
Yeah, I know Randall. I'm 18. Yeah.
I don't know Big Mike. I don't know his stuff.
Yes, you do, bro. What are you talking about?
Have I seen you before?
Mike Pence?
I know Mike Pence, but you ain't Mike Pence, bro.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
So, host, one last question before, because my time is almost up. How do we make laws in society if everything is subjective? How do we make laws?
Yeah, the way we make laws is that as a society, we come together and we basically decide what is the best way that we can decide that people should or should not behave, right? And that's essentially, that's kind of it. I know that's not very, very strong, but that's kind of it. We kind of get together and decide what is conducive to our society and what is not. And we kind of make law around that. Now, laws are not, Mike, hold on.
Sorry.
Laws are not morality, right? Because they are immoral laws. Like, for example, the law that me and you and Mark couldn't sit in the same room because our skin color was different. That we'll call an immoral law. So laws aren't morality. It's just
you said who's making it moral if everything is subjective?
Who's making it immoral?
Yeah,
that's just our. Again, we are. That's our preference.
No, but everything is subjective, though. What if I think that you're inferior? Like, how do we come to the conclusion? Okay, so you just said someone that will make it immoral. So who's making it immoral if everyone thinks differently?
The way that the society functions, we decide what's we make it immoral. Okay, because society used to think. Hold on, society used to think me being a black person or someone else being a white person, we shouldn't get married because that's immoral. But over time, we realize that doesn't make a lot of sense, right? There's no sense to that. So
what you're saying, if society comes together, they deem this to be immoral, then therefore it is immoral, correct?
No, sometimes, not always, not always. No, not really.
That's why you need God.
Not really. No, that's not what I need God. Not really. Sure. Just because society comes together and say that's
understand that you can have objective morality without God. It's ridiculous.
So you cannot.
Yes, you can.
Mike, all right, pause. Everybody pause. I have heard that argument before that you can have objective morality without God. I've heard the argument before, right? But I'm not the one person that can make it. Mike should make it because he's the one saying it.
No,
right?
I don't even believe in objective morality, but it's just.
I got you, but
it's pretty low tier that they don't even know that there are arguments for objective morality without God.
Yeah. There's our objective morality without God. That does exist. I'm not the one to make that argument because I don't know how to do that. But Randall, what I'm saying is that yes, when a society comes together and says something is immoral, for that society, that could be immoral, which makes it subjective, right? However, that would depend, like I said, again, depends on your preferences, because again, society used to think me marrying a white person is immoral. We don't think that anymore. Society shifts.
What do you mean we don't think that? Some people do.
Some people do.
When
I'm
you
talking
say
about
society, you're
I'm
talking
talking
about a
about-
collection of individuals.
I'm talking about a collection of people. Yeah, I'm talking about the collection.
Okay, so some people,
what a collective.
some people do. Some people do.
Randall,
but you're going-
slow down. Randall,
Wait,
slow
wait.
down.
Let me finish.
Slow down. Hold on, Randall, slow down.
The majority.
Randall, slow down.
Wait a minute.
Yes, the majority of people do no longer believe that people of different races marrying each other is immoral. The collective no longer believes that. Of course, there's still individuals who still believe that, but society has moved on from that now.
So what
We
is
no longer
deemed
believe
right
that.
and wrong? What is deemed right or wrong in our society is based on the majority. I got it, bro.
Yo, host,
No,
can
that's
I
not
ask Randall a question?
Sure.
That's basically what you said. That was your conclusion.
Yo, Randall, I got
No,
a
it's not.
question for you.
Yeah. Well, sorry, stranger. What's your question?
Bro, you know who I am. Please stop. It's not funny.
You said you believe in objective morality. So
No,
where that
I
come
just
from?
want to know your definition of objective.
I don't know, bro.
You don't know?
It's independent.
No, I don't know, man.
Stance independent?
It's a mind independent, depending on
Mind independent. Okay,
Mind
does God have a mind? Yes or no?
Yeah, God has a mind.
Okay, so then it's not objective morality if it's based on what God says.
God
'Cause
Yeah,
he has
says.
a
but-
mind.
That's what I've been saying.
But God is the creator, and everything came from Him. So
Unless you
he
can
makes
give me a working.
he makes what is right or wrong. So obviously,
Okay, so that's what I
we have a
said from the
backbone to
beginning.
stand on.
Hold on,
Yeah,
that's what I
unless they
said.
can give me
Rand.
unless they can give me a working definition of objective, but they can't.
He already gave it to you, bro.
So Randall, hold on, Randall. You kind of just proved mine and Big Mike's point. You said he's the creator; it's whatever he wants. That is subjective, bro.
No, no, it's not subjective.
I don't know why you're
because-
That is the
laughing.
definition of subjective. That's the definition of subjective. He just says whatever he wants, whatever his
No,
preferences.
No. We go by his standards, not our standards. But you go by your
Right. So
standards.
whatever.
What are you talking about?
So Randall, hold on. It's whatever his
Ra-
preference is.
Hold on. I
That's-
actually have a good analogy for him.
Go ahead.
Let me break it down, right? So if we lived in a dictatorship and whatever the dictator said was moral, that would still be mind dependent. So that would still be subjective. God's just like the ultimate dictator, but he's still a mind.
No, he's not a dictator whatsoever. So it's different.
Absolutely.
But you just said whatever
I know
he says
you're trying
goes.
to use that analogy, but remember that God is not of this creation, so he's outside of it. So obviously, everything would come from him.
How can
That's why we
he be?
have
How
a-
can he be
Okay.
set apart from creation when he's the creator?
Because he's
He-
uncreated, bro.
he has
we,
a link
We
to
are
his-
creation, but he's not a creation. Don't you
All right,
understand
so-
the difference?
All right. So God is not a creation, but we're a creation. Now, how do you show that to be true?
How do I show that to be true?
Yeah.
Well, we can look at the scriptures, but you're not gonna believe it, so I can't really.
All right. So the writings of goat herders from the Iron Age is what we're going off of for this description. That's what we're doing.
No, I said the Bible, the scriptures.
What makes
Right.
the Bible any more valid than, let's say, like the Bhagavad Gita or like the Quran?
Yeah, because we have evidence of Jesus, so
We have
what makes the Bible.
evidence of Muhammad living.
Yeah, but the prophecies fulfilled is also
Like what?
supporting evidence.
Like
What Jesus would go through on the cross, which was prophesied thousands of years.
What
written in
prophecy?
the Torah and the Psalms.
You're talking about the verse in Psalms. It's not a
The verse
prophecy.
in Psalms in Isaiah as well, Jeremiah. So it's a couple
Isaiah
more.
is about Israel. It's not about Jesus.
No, it's about Jesus, bro.
It's about
servant
Israel.
servants. The servant servants.
The servant is
Before we
Israel.
move on
You sure about that?
Yes.
Okay, can we go through real quick? But hey, Mark, if you want to say something, go ahead, man. I don't want to.
No. So one of the problems that like I came up here to address, and like Big Mike and Host have definitely hit on it, but like the current literature and like philosophy regards subjective and objective as stance independent and mind independent. If you go on to like where you would find the current literature and philosophy, but so the big problem is going to be like the classic like Euthyphro dilemma that they kind of brought up to you. Like, so are things So there's two parts to this question right here. Like, are things moral because God declares that they are, or is he looking to like a nature? And then the two on that, the second horn of that dilemma is going to be like, even if things are moral because God declares they are, why should I care?
Well, first of all, you gotta understand that God placed, consciousness in your heart. That's how you can tell what is right or wrong.
You're not answering the question.
Consciousness isn't in the heart; it's in the brain.
Let me finish.
No, that doesn't matter at all, right? Even if morals are declared from on high by God objectively, why I value them?
Because I can prove it to you that it is.
Prove it.
Okay, I
How do you do
asked
that?
I asked the host, right? How do we come to conclusion? He said it's based on the majority, right?
No, it's not based on the
No.
majority.
Okay, how do
it's
you
based
come to
on
the
the will to power of society. And just because
Wait,
the
wait,
will
so-
of
so
power
will to
so
power
hang
of
on.
society?
You really have to listen here real quick, because like the example that he was giving was great, right? Like my brother here is saying, like, eventually one time in history, right, it was immoral for him to marry a white lady because of the color of his skin, right? And then like, even for me, like,
Tapia, was
I'm
he
as
wrong at
white
that
as
time?
hang on, even for me, like, I'm as white as they come, right? I look white, I sound white as fuck, all this, but my great grandma was mixed, right?
Mhm.
So technically, if we went back to the South, I'm just as black as like host. I have 3/5 of a vote, all of this, but this is all things that we declared subjectively, and even the United States government is set up on this Enlightenment philosophy. Like, so what you're doing is you're saying that morality is objective because if we accept P, then Q. But what me and host are asking you is to motivate that if there. You need
Okay.
to motivate the if, and you can never step out of your morality being slaves to the passions. And this is something that we've known since literally the 18th century, dude. No
Okay.
one's been able to defeat the dilemma, and you're
So,
not
sure.
going to do it on TikTok Live.
Okay, sure, buddy. So if a
Especially
society,
not you, Randall.
I don't know why you're not adding nothing to the conversation, bro.
Yeah, I am. Your argument.
I'm not talking to you,
You're
I'm talking to Mike.
arguing.
He's
Sorry,
talking to
Mike,
Your
me, but
argument.
I
Your
literally
argument
have
is,
added.
I
to
don't
the
like the
conversation.
ramifications of the proposal that you've given, but you need to you need to address the epistemic problems you're running into. Not that you just disagree with the ramifications of the proposal given to you. You're saying like, okay, well, if everything you say is true, well, morality is subjective, and I don't like that.
Bro.
You need to address the underlying mechanisms,
Bro, see,
not just
here's
not
the
just say,
problem.
well, I don't like the ramifications, so therefore it's not true.
Here's the problem with atheists, okay, or agnostic. You guys deny the fact that you know what is right or wrong without anyone telling you it
I
is.
don't know. I don't
Hold on,
think
bro.
there's
Hold on,
a
bro.
universal objective truth.
Bro, let me finish. I let you talk, man. Thank you. So that is written in your heart. That's why nobody argues when a woman is raped that, oh, it's justified. Oh, it's a good thing. Everybody will come to the conclusion that is, even if some people, let me finish, Mike, please. Even if somebody says it is wrong, then you gotta believe that person is not okay. That's how we come to the conclusion of what is right or wrong in our society. Yes, there could be some factors, like, for example, abortion, because, they've tried to label that the child is not an individual like the host, trying to downplay and devalue what that human is. But that's different. But you know what is right or wrong. That's why there's absolutely no excuse. So when it comes to making laws in our society, it is not questionable whatsoever what is right or wrong, because everybody knows it.
Yes, it is.
So that comes from God, and it's written in your heart.
So everybody pause real quick. So you made two huge mistakes. You said that I tried to say that we're trying not to equivocate is zygotes and fetuses to full-grown children. That's what I'm not equivocating, but you are. It's number one. The second thing, hold on. That's not what I said. I said it's not a person until
Yep.
subjective experience. That's what I said. So but the second thing that I was gonna say is that you made a second mistake by saying that the way that society makes laws is because it's written in our hearts. If that's the case, are you saying that it was written in our hearts for me not to marry a white person?
What?
Because that was the law.
Bro, that comes out of hatred. That's different.
But you said it was. But you said the way we make. Hold on, pause real quick. Okay, so Randall, you said hold on, Randall, don't laugh.
Yeah.
You said the way we make laws in our society is that they're written in our hearts by God. So the laws around
No, that's not what I
slavery,
said.
the laws.
That's
Hold on,
what I
wait,
said.
hold on. No, it is what you said.
You're wrong.
You said what you said. Y'all heard him right. Y'all heard him right. Did everybody heard him say that? You said that. You said when we make laws.
Let me repeat myself. That's not what I said. I said.
No, it is, but go ahead.
Bro, can I finish? What is right or wrong is written in your hearts. You know it. Yes, people choose to do bad things, but they know what they're doing. That's why there's what we call accountability. Okay. As a matter of fact, you guys right now in the state are asking for reparations. Why is that? Because it was wrong back then. Everybody knows this. There's no argument. That's what I said.
Host, can I please ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Randall, remember when we were talking about GA?
Bro, I don't know you, bro. Why you keep saying remember when we talk? I don't know you.
Host, he knows me. He's acting dumb. He's acting coy, but he does know me. We've gone on like
somebody else, bro. I'm not responding to you.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to respond. I'll just never mind. Host, you can go. I don't care.
All right, cool. Yeah. So you did say that's the way the God wrote laws and God wrote what's wrong or right in our hearts and that make laws in society. That's what you said. So if that's what it is, so if that's the way that we make laws in society, you will have to explain all of the immoral laws. Now you did say that we can still do whatever we want, but they knew what they were doing was wrong. Are you sure about that?
But the laws that contradict the Bible that God wrote on our hearts. Like the laws about how you can't discriminate against LGBTQ people in this country now, today. Was that written on our hearts? Yes or no, Randall?
Host, could you carry on, please?
No, I want you to answer that question. That law about not discriminating against LGBTQ people, was that also written on our hearts? Because according to the Bible, they're an abomination.
Exactly.
Okay. So the Bible describes the act as abominations, not the persons. Okay, so if you read the scriptures, you would know that
he's acting so dumb because in America, if a gay couple gets married, you have to give them a marriage license. But according to the Bible, it's one man, one woman, right?
Okay, Mike. According to the Bible, does God condemn the act? Yes or no?
Yes, he does.
Okay, does he condemn the person?
No, but he condemns.
What did I just say?
He condemns the union. He condemns the union between the two people.
Okay, so the union is the act, right?
Yes.
Okay, isn't that what I said?
Yeah. So, but in America, the act, you have to allow gay people to get married. The act.
Bro, the act is wrong. Okay.
Why?
And that's what we're saying. So I don't know what you're
arguing. Hold on, Randall. Why?
I don't know. He just pivoted, man.
Randall.
That's not a pivot.
Hold on. Everybody pause real quick. Pause real quick. So Randall, why is it wrong? Mark, I got you, Mark. Give me a second, Mark.
Bro,
I got you, Mark. Give me a second. So Randall.
I didn't talk.
A dude and another dude messing around with each other. No.
Yes.
We're gonna let's talk about ladies then. A lady and a lady messing with each other. You know, rubbing the thing there.
Yeah,
why is that wrong?
Okay, so because the original design is not meant for it. For example, when a man and a man do wundiwa, okay, the a-hole is not meant for penetration. So the design for mankind was to, reproduce as part of God. So obviously that just goes against.
So infertile people can't take.
Bro, that's a defect. So that's a defect. That's different. Okay.
Oh, so infertile people are defective.
Yeah. Sorry, infertile people.
Okay, yeah, bro. You guys want to take it out of context, sure, but I
didn't take it out of context. You the one who said it's a defect. So infertile people are defective.
Hold on, man. That's not the norm to be infertile, right? That's what I meant. So
it's not a norm, but that doesn't mean that it's a defect.
When
it's not the norm, that means it's a defect. Hold on, Randall.
Is that the norm, bro?
Randall. Okay. Something being out of the norm doesn't mean it's a defect. Because guess what? I'm out
I
of the
think
norm.
by defect he just means out of the norm.
Okay, got you. He means out of the norm. But
Yeah.
that doesn't make it a defect, bro.
I don't. Anyways, man. So maybe you're taking it out of context, but that's what I was inferring.
It's not out of context. These words mean things.
Champion.
You can't use defect for something that's out of the norm.
Are you using it
God,
as
God
a
did not design
moralizing term?
that human to be infertile. God didn't design it, but because of the downfall of mankind and what plagues this planet, obviously it's not perfect.
Wait, how do you? Okay, can you prove that we're designed at all? How do you prove that?
Can I prove that we're designed?
Yeah, how do you do that?
Yeah. How do I do it? Because life cannot come from non-life.
So where did God come from?
God is uncreated.
So you're special pleading.
That's
to
special
God.
Hold on, man. Hold on, bro. So if you guys want to argue where did God come from, then I will tell you that God came from another God, and then we can go infinite.
So it's an infinite regress.
Yes,
It's
we
kind
can
of
go
like
infinite
the
regress.
universe
But
being
with
infinite
mankind,
regress.
it is proven that we had an origin. So
All right. Can everybody pause? Can everybody pause real quick? I'm sorry. Knuckles, how you doing? Welcome to the stage. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm gonna end in probably like 20 minutes, but Mark has been very, very patient. He had a question. Everybody pause for me real quick. And Mark, can you go ahead and ask your question because you've been patient? Thank you so much.
Yeah, let me connect to my wall. He just pulled up. Give me like 1
Nah, bro,
second.
you got to connect to his Wi-Fi. You got to connect to his Wi-Fi. All right, not a problem.
I'm here.
All right, okay, cool. Go ahead.
All right, gigabyte a second. So we're rolling, right? But where is that dude? Randall, right? Okay. So one thing that's really going to cut to the heart of the matter that you've been avoiding, and like I also feel like it's been kind of miscommunicated, right? You're always going to have a problem going from the facts of the case. Like I can concede that even when we shift this discussion to the cause of the universe and want to give it to God, or we want to say that God is the grounding of these moral principles and they're divinely object, right? Like even if that is true, why ought we follow that, right? So there's always a philosophical gap there, right? And the way that you define objective and subjective is either mind dependent or stance independent, but the most correct term is going to be stance independent. But my point here is broadly that you're never going to be able to cross this gap, right? You're never going to be able to be like, it is the case that God is true and declares moral laws, but I don't subjectively value them, and that's why we ought to follow them. You're never going to be able to make a moral claim that's not like, if P, then Q, without justifying the if.
Like I said,
can you please like justify the if? Like I grant that God is good, right?
Okay. God
is good, God exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why ought I follow that?
Like I said, you don't have to follow it. That's what I told you. You have free will. Okay, believe it or not. But again, there's something we call accountability for your actions, because you know that what you do is either right or wrong. That's my argument. Because it's
none of
in your
that
heart.
answers what I just asked you.
You said why you ought to follow it, right?
Why you are making a normative
But
claim.
I just told you
so
you don't
I'm
have
saying,
to.
So
Wait,
basically, just to
that's
shorten
my
it
answer
up,
to you.
like we concede God exists and declares morals from on high. I'm saying why I value that as a human.
Why you value that as a human? Because
why
when
you're making the normative.
I'm answering you.
Just to clarify, you're making the normative claim that I ought to value that God says. I'm saying, okay, I can see God exists and declares morals.
You actually
from on
answered
high.
it, to be honest.
Give me a non-subjective reason to value.
Yes, because
he doesn't understand what normative claim. He doesn't understand. Break it down better for him. He doesn't get it.
So my position is just completely that you can't have any kind of knowledge objectively. The only objective knowledge that you have is that you can't have objective knowledge. Actually, ironically.
So are you an epistemic nihilist?
Epistemic fallibilist.
That doesn't make any sense. I mean, when you fart,
it does.
What's that noise?
Yeah, don't, yeah. Let's not get into the weeds of that. Don't worry about that yet.
Okay.
Let's get to. Give me 1 second, y'all, because I got 2 more people on the stage. I want to make sure that if they're who they are, because I know where you stand, Knuckles. Just give me 1 second, all right? Flo Poppy. I'm sorry, Flo Poppy. How's it going? Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about either one of these?
What's good, boss? Yes, I am 18, and yes, I wanted to talk about the first one.
All right, cool. Give me a second. All right, Eli. Eli, are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about any of these?
Yeah, I'll say I'd rather talk about the second one rather than the first.
Gotcha. Pause for me real quick. All right. So Randall, we've been with you for a while, and of course, you got 3 people here that gonna kind of jump you, so we gotta have to wrap up. All right. But I think Knuckles wants to talk about one last thing that you said. Knuckles, what was your question for Randall again?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the typical trope that I keep hearing. This life from non-life. Like we have this answer. We know that a very specific answer would be like amino acids. Their existence in the universe is trivial. You find them on asteroids. You find them on meteorites. They're just in space, and that's non-life. And we know it's a necessary component, literally necessary component in every philosophical way for life that we know. So we're justified to say that life comes from these very trivial non-life components in the universe. So that argument is pretty much dead. I don't know why people keep digging it up.
I think it's probably because they haven't done the research into it. All right, so Randall, we're gonna have to wrap up. Do you have any last thing to say?
No, not really. I think you can.
Yo, Randall, bring me on your live next time you go live.
20 minutes, so I don't want to take much.
No problem. Yeah. All right, guys. I do appreciate y'all being here. We're gonna go ahead and give this maybe another 30 to 45 minutes, and then we're gonna wrap up for tonight. Big shout out to Knuckles for being here. Big Mike, I appreciate you. This is the first time that we here and that I see you, but appreciate you for being here, and you as well, Mark Allen. I appreciate you for being here as well. This is our first time interacting. You guys are awesome. We're gonna get to Flo Poppy. Flo, how's it going? Was it number 1, number 2 that you want to talk about?
Good as one, yes, sir. Number 1.
Number 1. All right, cool. All right, we're gonna talk about number 1. You're gonna talk about number 1 with me, and then Mark and Knuckles will probably have some questions for you, but me and you will talk alone for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll have any questions that they have for you. Okay?
Cool.
Sound good?
Cool.
All right. So number 1, yeah, I think leftist policies are better for society. The policies I'm talking about are typically what's considered left for America. Everywhere else is normal, all right? But for America, these are considered leftist policies. Things like universal health care, universal education, an end to the war on drugs, investment into renewable energy, including nuclear, walkable cities, maternal-paternal leave, those type of policies in general are better for society because I think they make us healthier overall, mentally and physically. I think they make us more productive overall, and they decrease our stress, and they make us a more connect. They focus more on building humans as a community than building us as separate and cogs in a machine to make more money for the billionaires. So I think those policies are what's best for society. Do you disagree?
I would disagree with some of them. I would say that some of them, like nuclear energy, I wouldn't say is a leftist policy. In fact, some of the biggest proponents of stopping nuclear energy are typically on the left. The your AOCs, your Bernies, that is who really is getting in the way of more nuclear. If you look at the New York City nuclear power plant, it was shut down by AOC's crowd through years of protesting. I would say that that's both sides. I would say, yes, some conservatives, the big oil types, would also protest that, but I would not say that is a strictly leftist policy. I would say universal health care has proven to be a failure in most countries. I would say that it is it sounds good, it feels good, but it has not worked to a great extent anywhere it's been tried. And I don't believe it could work on a global scale. If you look at the countries where it is seemingly managing right now, if you look at the Nordics, they don't run super big budget deficits, but I would say they are kind of free riders on the economic powerhouses of the world. You don't see much innovation coming from these countries. You don't see much. They're also struggling with population growth. They're going to have to, large levels of immigration to keep up with their aging populations, which I don't necessarily have a problem with, but that's a cultural hot topic. So
Okay, so when it comes to nuclear energy, right? When it comes to that, what's been the concern about it is the environment, essentially, because in order for you to get nuclear energy, unfortunately, you still gotta pollute, because you gotta dig up uranium and stuff like that. So it's all about the environment. It's not really about not having it at all. It's basically what can happen to the environment, and that's why you had a lot of protests about it. But the second thing I would say, when it comes to universal health care, when you say that it's failed in every single country has been tried, we're the only industrialized nation that doesn't have it. They all still have it, and a lot of their systems are fine. The only criticisms that you can make is for systems like the UK and Canada. And the Canada has a mixed system. It's private and public. And the same thing with the UK. As a matter of fact, people from the UK have even said that the system was working fine until they started to privatize it. When they started to add private things to it, that's when it all came fucked up. You see what I'm saying? But like when you look at
my bad,
right? But when you look at other countries who run their programs, their universal healthcare programs, and they fund them like correctly, or they fully fund them, you see that their programs work out fine. It's only when they don't fund them at all that they start having problems, or that they privatize it, they start having problems. But everything other than that, it works out fine.
Well,
so go ahead.
I would disagree with the concept of fine. What is fine? I know someone personally, I know family in Canada that had to wait 3 weeks to, I believe it was something very simple. They were waiting 3 weeks to get seen for. This is a common occurrence in Canada, and you might say, oh, well, that's a mixed market. I would say America is a mixed market. We have a very large Medicaid, Medicare, the veterans assistance. These are massive amounts of money, massive amounts of people that are under these things that are national health care. But I was
those are not national health care.
With the sentiment of these things working out fine in most of Europe, besides the Nordics. The Nordics are the only country where this doesn't apply. They're running massive deficits that are not going to be able to keep up with. France is, every year seems like they're on the verge of collapse running these massive deficits.
This is propaganda. This is nonsense.
What is
propaganda? What he's saying is nonsense. What you're saying is nonsense. What you're saying is,
which part is nonsense?
What you just said about these healthcare systems not being fine, as if these countries have populations of people who are like dying and sickly every day without proper healthcare.
Obviously, if you're funding healthcare, you're not going to have a large population dying of treatable diseases. But do we have a large population?
So it's more than just fine.
So do we have a large population of people dying from
in the U.S.? Yes, we have a large population of people dying from treatable diseases in the United States.
All the time.
Not to the degree
every single day.
Not to the degree. I would say trade-offs here. I would say
pause. Everybody pause. You said look at the trade-offs. I'm not sure what the trade-off would be to people not dying of preventable diseases. That's kind of crazy. Well, but what I would say is that when we look at those countries, like France runs into these issues because France does what France does, right? But every single country is running deficits, right? Like I think the world debt is like $60 trillion or some shit like that. Like we owe the Decepticons, I guess. But like, every country is running a deficit, right? But that's not really the point. They're running their healthcare systems. They work out perfectly fine. I mean, like it's not something that where the entire country is collapsing because of their universal healthcare system. Every industrialized country that has a universal healthcare system is running it fine. I think the one with the biggest problems is probably Canada and the UK. But what I was gonna say about when it comes to America, we don't really have a mixed private public system, because guess what? You mentioned the VA, right? I'm a veteran, and guess what? I can't get the VA because I'm not disabled. You know what I'm saying? So it's really one of those things, right? The VA is not universal. Medicaid and Medicare are also not universal, because you have to be either disabled or 65 for you to get Medicare. And Medicaid is run by your state. Like I live in Florida, right? So here, if you're not disabled, if you're not under 18, if you're not over 65, you don't get Medicaid. It doesn't matter if you are a, dirt poor on the street. They don't give a shit. You're not going to get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really a national system that way.
Noel, it's not a universal system. It is a national system. This is national healthcare.
It's not universal. Yeah, you're correct.
Yes, sir. I would agree. But again, I would just disagree with the concept that these things are fine. I think it sounds great to Americans looking from the outside in, but when you talk to Canadians, you talk to these people under these systems, they wish they could go to a private. Now, I'm not, there are concerns I have with a larger, a larger public healthcare system, but I'm not necessarily against an expansion of a public option. But the key word there is option. These universal healthcare systems in the majority of these European countries and anywhere else you want to point to, it is not a this or that. It is either you choose the universal route, you go full universal healthcare, nationalized healthcare, or you have private. And if that's the choice, I'm choosing private every time. Do you know when healthcare was the cheapest in America? Do you know the time that it was the cheapest in America ever?
When we charge billionaires the appropriate amount of taxes, probably.
It's a whole lot of
when we had a 90%.
It was in the
marginal tax rate.
It was called the Lodge system. This was before we had any sort of nationalized healthcare, any at all. There was no veterans care. There was no Medicaid. There was no Medicare. There was none of that. And you know what the problem was? You want to know why it was shut down? Because it was too cheap. Doctors got together and said, "This is too cheap."
When was it?
Early 1900s. It's called the Lodge system. It was really shut down in about 1920s.
Yeah, give us a date.
You said the Lodge system?
You want a date?
Early 1900s, like 1920s.
Yes, look up early 1900s Lodge system in America.
Yeah. Not like the 1920s.
So like I collect like antique books, and one of my favorite ones to pick up is like American medical journals, the ones with like the great testimonials and stuff like that from like that time. But my point here is like medical care was like a lot different. Like when you look in the literature back then, these books that doctors were buying and stuff, like the books literally told you like how many chickens and eggs you would want for like a doctor's appointment and stuff like that. And I don't think that like with population and the explosion and stuff like that, that's something we should be basing our healthcare prescriptions on. And the other thing is like you can shit on wait times all you want, but like as a working American that like I literally work 3 jobs and I have health insurance, and like by the time I use my health insurance up on my kids, right, like I'm not going to the doctor by myself. I'm 38, so I'd rather have a fucking wait time than no access at all. And I think you're looking at it all wrong.
You're not going to get no access at all. You can walk into a hospital and they have to treat you. Now,
for emergency care, for emergency life-saving conditions.
Okay,
but like if you have colon cancer, that's going to kill you in 6 months. That's not fucking emergency care, bro.
But he wants you to be able to pay. He wants you to be able to have enough money to pay for it. That's the free market analyst's position on healthcare. Yeah. I mean, that's what he's repeating. He just doesn't know it.
Yes,
and that's
real quick,
not your position.
That's pretty evil. I mean, so everybody pause real quick.
Your opinion.
Everybody pause real quick, bro. I got you. Everybody pause for me real quick. So, Flo Poppy, like, Mark actually brought up a big issue with this system, right? Because right now, because things cost so much, because nothing is covered, people usually wait until emergency happens, and by that time, many times it's actually too late. What universal healthcare does is that it lets people go to see their doctor earlier, and they can prevent a lot of issues. A lot of people dying of preventative diseases because they just simply didn't go to the doctor simply because it costs too much. You know what I mean? But if we had single payer, if we had a public option, you will have more people going into the doctor to do preventative care. That's one of the big issues in the United States. But the other thing I was going to bring up is like this Lodge system thing, because it sounded familiar, right? The Lodge system disappeared because private insurance companies started popping up. Right. So not only that, the Lodge system is a good example of mutual aid, which is what a lot of socialists actually promote, mutual aid within your community. Yeah, I mean, so this was kind of a socialist system, to you true.
I would say
brought up like the trading eggs for like healthcare.
Okay, let me respond. Let me respond to some of this. What was the first point you made? First of all, I would say the prescription that's an evil position that I expect people to pay for their healthcare. That's ridiculous. Why should you not have to pay?
I didn't say evil. I said
that it should be expensive.
I said ignorant, tunnel vision, free market. I said ignorant, tunnel vision, free market opinion. That's what I said. You call it
ignorant tunnel vision, and then someone said it was
Yes.
evil, which I think is ridiculous. I
Whatever,
think it's evil
bro.
to expect
Who
other
cares about
people
that?
to pay for your stuff. But okay,
All right.
What are
So
you talking
Flo
about?
Poppy,
Society, in any society, somebody else is going to be
okay, I got you. The
something
lodge
that
system, though. The lodge system.
You don't
The
know how
reason-
society works. I mean, you
Okay.
think
Lodge
an
system.
Hold on,
individual lives
yeah,
Private
also-
entirely by
insurance,
themselves. That's you.
private insurance and lodge system were two different things. Lodge system is not insurance. Lodge system was primary care. It was healthcare paying out insurance.
Right, I got you. Hold on, everybody pause real quick. All right, so when it comes to the law system, what I'm saying is that because it sounded familiar to me because I heard about it, and I want to make sure that I was right. And yeah, the law system became less popular because the private companies started coming up,
No, sir.
not because of
No,
anything else. Yes,
And again, insurance
Yes.
and lodge. Insurance was around when the lodge was around, and they worked.
I know.
together.
And as they became more
The-
commercial, as they grew a lot more, the law system started to go
No, the
to go
primary
away.
factor that killed the lodge system was the American Medical Association targeting it because they didn't like how cheap it was. That millions of people were covered under this incredibly cheap.
So the
care.
insurance companies.
That's not an insurance company, champ. The American Medical Association.
Yes, so the insurance companies.
That is not an insurance company. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's,
the-
scientific, it's a like medical journal, bro.
Yeah, it's a
that's
medical
not an
journal.
insurance company, bro. I mean,
So you're
what
saying
are we
that?
talking about here?
So you're saying that a medical
point?
journal? Hold on, wait, hold on. Let me figure this out. You're saying that a medical journal, a journal where people print their discoveries on science and medicine, are the ones who shut down the lodge system because it was too cheap.
No, I mean,
This
they
is kinda
have a
crazy.
journal. Do you think that's all they do? They have a journal.
That's all they do, bro.
No, that's not all they do, bro.
What do they
shut
do?
down the lodge system. So obviously they're not just sitting here writing.
Are you sure they shut down the lodge system? Okay,
I mean,
let's
you
look
can
this up.
look it up. You got a computer. in
All right,
front of
cool. Did the medical? You said the
you.
Medical Association?
Association.
Did the American Medical Association shut down the lodge system?
The AMA was started by very right-wing, very religious fundamentalists in the 1800s, I think, or maybe like right at the beginning of the 1900s.
Actually,
it's
yeah.
nothing really.
I give it to you. Yeah, no, Flo was right. Yeah, they played a significant role in doing it. No, he's right.
Of
No,
course
yeah,
they
I
did.
get it to you, Flo.
I mean, they're a
I get that to you.
Now I would
Yeah.
say
That's
when
it.
you brought
For a very
up the
long time.
concern of it not being scalable to you know, and I think doctors should be paid more. That was a honest concern under the lodge system that doctors were paid incredibly cheaply. But I would say unionize as a doctor, and you could you know, collectively bargain for higher wages.
Who
I
are
would
you
say
going to
that-
rebel against? I don't understand. What are you unionizing against? Your boss, as a doctor, is your patient.
Yes.
It's not some guy making
so-
profit off of you and
So Flo,
exploiting your labor. What are you
everybody pause real quick.
unionizing against?
Guys, everybody pause real quick. All right, so Flo Poppy, the thing that comes when it comes to single payer healthcare, right? Because you brought up a point that a lot of people say, you know, it's evil to make someone else pay for you. The thing is, this is how all insurance works. Like, you understand that your premium, when you
Yes,
pay
and
your
I just
premium,
did
right?
insurance. Yes.
Right. So yeah, so your premium goes into a risk pool, and all those all your payments
I
are
know
coming
how it
out of that. Right. So yeah, you know how it works exactly. So the thing is, all we're saying is that we're removing the middleman of the private system that wants to make profit off of this, right? We're just removing the middleman. Everyone's going to pay into the system, and we're all going to benefit from it. It's not other people paying for you. You're also paying for yourself. You're paying for your kids. You're paying for your neighbor, and your neighbor is paying for you too. Like, because we're kind of all in. Hold on. What I'm saying is that in our society, right, we're kind of all on this together. Like, if America fails tomorrow, it doesn't only affect me, it affects you too, right? So if we're all in this together, why would we not want everyone to be taken care of?
I mean, I'm fine with taking care. I believe in private charity. I believe in all of these things. I'm fine with taking care of others. What I'm not fine with, again, is a bureaucratic overreach telling me that I have to
But every
assign myself
bureaucracy is
to a.
overreach to you. You
if-
keep saying you don't believe in
All right, man.
this, but every form of bureaucracy, which you're going to need, even for a system that's purely privatized, is going to be overreach.
No,
So
no, no.
yes,
A
exactly.
fully
Yes.
private bureaucracy.
Dude, that makes no sense. What you said makes no sense. You need bureaucracy for every social system you want to put in place.
No, I said
if you
government
want to say that
bureaucracy.
every single household is going to be treated like an island unto themselves, you're still going to need a bureaucracy to govern the private, whatever system you want to have. What do you want to have? You want to have a system where every individual has to like strike up a contract with the other individual they speak to? Like,
No, I want
dude,
I want a fully privatized healthcare system.
You're making no sense. You're
quite
making
know
no
what you're
sense.
Yeah,
talking
but Flo,
You're
the
not making any
privatized
sense.
healthcare system that we see today is trash.
Again, I would say this is not a fully privatized healthcare system. Do you know what the largest
it
increase,
is, bro.
Do you know what the largest increase in private insurance premiums in American history was? Do you know when that happened?
Just the other day. That's not the other day. Just recently, right?
You know, you might we might have beat it out, but I can tell you, after the signing of Obamacare was a massive jump in the. Now tell me how that's a failure of private insurance when we signed for more public insurance coverage. Now that's a failure on us. It's like the most brutal form of gaslighting ever.
But
the government
the
causes
ACA,
the issue, and then they tell you need us.
Obamacare. Hold on, Flo. Obamacare was not a public insurance thing. That was a public insurance. Like there's no public option.
Medicare. The expansion of Medicaid, Medicare.
Right, depending on your state. Not every state expanded Medicaid and Medicare. Florida didn't. That's what caused the premiums to go up.
No, again,
the states, but Flo, hold on. So explain why the states that did expand Medicaid and Medicare, explain why their premiums went down. But the states that didn't, their premiums went up.
Medicaid, Medicare, private premiums, there's no way they went down. You already explained how it wouldn't work that way. If you're putting everyone in a pool, a giant pool, when you take some out, then of course that pool is going to raise. Of course the price is going to raise.
Right, but what I'm saying is that Obamacare didn't do that. It expanded the pool, or was supposed to.
You got a computer in front of you. Let's look it up. Look up if Obamacare, the expansion of Medicaid and Medicare caused private insurance premiums to rise.
Yeah, but the price always also goes up depending on how it's being used. So, for example, if you have people in that pool that are getting the same kind of sick every single year, and that increases, everybody's premiums are going to go up if they're not using that kind of care. That's how private
and I would say that's another problem with a single national healthcare system.
No, it's a problem
national healthcare focuses only on fixing problems. You don't see much. You don't see much preventative care.
How is that an issue?
All right, so guys, so exactly what on what I said, right? The first thing that came up is that it's a study that was done, I think, by the University of Oklahoma. No evidence suggests that Medicaid expansion caused private insurance premiums to increase. In fact, studies indicate it likely lowered premium growth rates by reducing uncompensated care costs for hospitals and lowering the number of uninsured individuals. Premium hikes in the ACA marketplace are driven by factors like drug costs and subsidy expirations. So when the subsidies went away, that's when the premiums went up. When drugs are so expensive, that's when the premiums went up. You see what I'm saying? So this is what's causing. If I'm saying so, all right. I think what I'm saying is that I think in my opinion, we should just do a single payer system because it will remove the if we have one giant system, then we have better negotiating power for drug costs. We have better negotiating power for medical devices. We have more people going in for preventative care. Things like that. These are all lower the cost of medicine in this country, or our medical costs in this country. It seems like a win, and not only that, we all could get on it. And the thing is, what you said, Flo Millie, I said Flo Millie. What you said, Flo Poppy, is I disagree before, is that you believe in charity and stuff like that, right? Charity can never fulfill the demand of a society. It never happens.
Of course it can.
So there's going to be, and people always fell through. There were always people who didn't get the care that they needed because charity just cannot fulfill the demand of 330 million people.
Do you think people don't fall through in national healthcare systems?
Yeah, it happens, but not as much as it would with charity.
Again, I would say look at the trade-offs for these things. National healthcare, again, if that is your primary concern, then yes, you will solve some of the issues you were talking about. But I think the trade-offs, what you are giving up, is not. And all of these problems you're mentioning could be fixed in other ways. I would say drug prices, that can be fixed in a million different ways other than a national healthcare system.
All right. So what are we giving up?
Again, longer wait times. You reduce innovation. Again, 90 or I don't know the exact number, but the majority of healthcare innovation comes from America with the largest private healthcare system. This is from
Right, because we're also the wealthiest country.
Pay for the R&D, dude.
Yeah, that's also not true. A lot of drugs aren't made here. And in fact, a lot of drugs are imported
again, you
here.
got it in front of you. We can
And
look it
even
up.
the ones here, and a lot of the technological progress that is like been privatized, especially in relations to like the digital age, right? All of these innovations, especially R&D and meds, like when you talk about, you know, the latest 2020 viral thing. I'm trying to be friendly here. But anyways, like, so the money for that was put up to research for that was public funds, and then the medical industry just captured all the gains for the money that we put up.
Sure, I mean there might have been public money put up, but I would say I can give you a million examples of privately researched drugs that are life-saving. I mean, this is not a
but they're publicly funded.
No,
they're publicly funded with subsidies and grants.
They're privately funded.
No, maybe as like beginning capital, but to continue these studies, they're always publicly funded and kept alive by grants.
No,
if they're genuine,
governments are spending. I mean, what do you think these companies are spending their money on? They spend it on R&D.
They're spending their money on
to make a new drug
and
to make up $1 billion.
No, yeah, you just said it. The problem is the profit. You keep skirting around this topic.
No, the reason they can make
you never went to a clinic. We already have your system. Anybody can get sick without insurance and then go to a clinic and pay for the service. And you're waiting at those clinics, but you're paying a premium for those services because you don't have insurance. We already have what you think we have, or what you want us to have. But you want that to be the entire. Yeah, we do.
The reason drug prices specifically, we couldn't even get
is because of greedy pharmaceutical companies. Yes.
Sure, pharmaceutical companies are greedy. The reason they can charge astronomical prices. Stop talking over me.
It's not a throwaway comment.
The reason they can charge astronomical prices is because the government gives them a monopoly on this drug. If we refuse to give them the only rights to make this drug, then they cannot charge whatever they want.
The only place those things happen is in a place that has a socialized healthcare system. You keep arguing for a free market healthcare system. You keep vacillating between the 2 points. It's getting exhausting.
I've not vacillated one time.
Guys,
so you just brought up the government.
I'm sorry, man, go ahead.
And like he's saying, like it's the government that's doing these things, and like I absolutely understand and empathize that the government makes bad positions, right? And I see this, right? But when like the side of the argument that you're making and that Knuckles is trying to put out, you think that it's all just like private enterprise doing these things, and the government like enacting bad laws just to benefit these. But that didn't happen, these interests, that didn't happen out of a vacuum. Like we started, the reason the government favors these corporations is because they're captured by the capital that these businesses accumulate. The profit motive that Knuckles says keeps skirting around.
I disagree with that. I would say that is a portion of it. But do you think, would y'all be okay with ending these, the FDA? Would y'all be okay with ending the FDA?
Oh, of course not.
No. Okay, well, there we go. That's the issue.
But the bureaucracy
the FDA
is not the
gives
issue.
These drug companies the quote. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can I make one general point about this? Because this is the typical anti-regulation argument you hear from free market fundamentalists. But they argue like they're high school kids because it's like they just first learned about free market economics. This guy wants an economy with no regulation period, and he thinks it's going to help. It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Again, you can just keep talking about these things in a
Dude, you want people to make buildings
like they're
without regulation.
Everybody pause. Everybody pause. All right, cool. So, Flo, we do gotta move on. We've been up here for maybe about 45 minutes. I want to get to Eli and Trill. What's going on? I know you're on my side, but I do want to get to the last person before we gotta move on and get out of here. All right, but Flo, go ahead and come back anytime. Not tomorrow. I'll be back on Saturday. So come back on Saturday and we'll continue this discussion. Again, guys, I do got to go ahead and get out of here. Been on for almost 2 hours now, and I appreciate y'all Knuckles and Mark, once again, I appreciate y'all. Trill, I'm gonna get you in a second, so you can go ahead and make your point. All right. So, Eli, how's it going, Eli? You want to talk about number 2, correct?
Yeah, correct.
All right, great. I appreciate you for being patient. Let's go and talk about number 2.
Okay.
What do you think is a good reason to believe in a God?
Okay, so I'll say there's 2 ways I can go about this. Do you want me to like a level of questioning, or I could just state premises and we can come to a conclusion?
The philosophical thing, I think, gets us nowhere.
Yeah, it's only going to be philosophical. I think that's the only way to prove God, because God can't be proved within the physical matter. Because what we see within matter, you can give labels to why it exists. Like I could say, to miracles if you want within the church, but you don't believe it. You wouldn't believe in miracles, of course.
Right. All right. So we can't prove God physically. So we can only prove God philosophically. Does that mean that we can do the same thing with dragons?
If dragons were to exist, they would exist within matter, within physics. So you could prove it physically. So that's not analogous.
So why we can't do that with God?
Because God exists outside of matter or physical.
So God exists outside of matter, but miracles happen. He could affect matter?
Yes, that's exactly. He can't affect matter, but we can label what's happening. I can say that dragons, for example, is affecting the matter. You could say a human affected that, or someone else could say God. So that's the difference.
So is the same thing with dragons. Dragons are non-physical, but they affect matter. So now what do we do?
Oh, dragons are non-physical?
Yeah, dragons are non-physical, but they affect matter. So now what do we do?
So then you would have to prove them with some sort of logic. I think you could prove anything with logic or philosophy, but the most effective way may differ.
That's what I'm saying. What you're doing for God, we can do the same thing for dragons.
No, you could actually. I just said you could.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So if we're gonna go ahead and try to prove those things, if we're gonna try to prove these supernatural things with cute little philosophical arguments, we can do that for anything, for unicorns, for dragons.
I can agree with that.
Right, exactly. So what at the end of the day, what do we do then? Because it's like if you see the issue here, right? What
There's
do we do
no issue.
You don't see the problem there?
Well, I would like you to demonstrate the problem with proving something through philosophy. What I'm using is not really philosophy; it's a very basic argument. An argument probably that this was made like at 1,800 years ago.
What I'm saying is that we can't verify anything like that.
Yeah, like, you can't verify it, but you can still say it's logically possible or logically expected.
It's logically expected for dragons?
No, if you were to be able to prove dragons' existence through some sort of logic, I don't know how you would do it, but if let's say it was theoretically possible, then it would be logically expected for dragons to exist. Right, this so under the assumption you could prove it.
You really live in a fantasy world, don't you, bro?
I don't believe dragons exist, but I'm saying granting you if dragons did exist, there would be some sort of logical proof of it.
You don't.
What are you talking about, Knuckles? You're not.
Wait, hold on. Hey, give me a second. Knuckles. Give me a second. I promise I'll get you next. Give me a second. All right. So, if dragons existed, we would be able to logically show dragons. So, if God exists, we would be able to logically get to God. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So now there are arguments that are valid, but that doesn't mean that they're sound, right?
What do you mean by the difference between valid and sound? Maybe I'm mistaken.
Like someone can make an argument where premise 1 leads to premise 2 leads to premise 3, but the soundness doesn't mean like
you do realize something being logically valid would mean it's logically sound.
No.
Okay, give me an example of something that's logically valid but not logically sound.
Olodumare.
I don't know what that is.
Olodumare is the god of West African Yoruba religion. Yeah. Every argument you can make for the Christian God or the Muslim God, you can make it for Olodumare.
No, actually, after I get through my argument for God's existence, I would prove that God exists in at least 2 persons. I would argue for that. Which God
exists in at least 2 persons?
Yeah, God exists within at least 2 persons. I would make an argument after that, which would be normally what I make for Muslims. But hey, since we're here, we can.
No, but who are those persons?
Who are the persons? Well, they would not have a name necessarily. I mean, when you get into theology, they would be given a name, but in a personal name we attribute to the God we found exists.
All right, so
But that's besides the point. If you don't believe in a God,
wait, is it someone I can catch a plane and meet? That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean catch a plane and meet? Of course, we believe our God incarnated. But I would say
but you said exist in
catch a plane.
I'm trying to understand here. You saying that God would make a God
do you want me to get to the argument? Or you just gonna keep asking questions?
All right, hold on, wait. You said God would exist in two persons. I'm asking who are those persons? Can I go meet them?
Yeah, well, I would say the unbegotten God and the begotten God would just be how we would label it.
My nigga, what? All right, go ahead.
How
and
have you never heard of the Trinity, dude?
I've heard of the Trinity.
Why
I've heard of the Trinity.
Why are you
but
acting surprised?
hold on, I've heard of the
is?
Trinity, but you said persons.
Yeah, we
so that's why I asked you. Can I go?
Holy Spirit
that's what I'm saying. Can I go meet these niggas, bro? That's what I'm saying. No, I can't. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get to what you were saying.
He's a New Age Catholic. Go ahead, Eli. Go ahead.
All right, so
I wouldn't say Catholic.
What is Orthodox? All right, cool. So how do we get to God? And if we can't verify, why should we believe it?
What do you mean by verify it? Wouldn't you use?
I think you understand what I mean.
Verify stuff. What?
No,
not necessarily. No.
Not necessarily. Okay. What is the time where you don't have to use logic?
Never.
Atoms. Because remember, scientists used to argue that atoms existed, but they never were able to prove them until like the early 20th century when we created microscopes to see, not microscopes, the type of microscopes that we needed in order to verify atoms.
Yeah,
so they always hold on, wait on. They always argued that atoms existed because of the effects that they saw on everything else. But until we invented the type of microscopes that we can to actually see below the microscopic level, that's when atoms were verified to exist. So my question is that how do we get to God? What arguments or what type of logic do we do to get to this God? And if we can't verify it, why should we believe it?
Okay, well, I also want to bring up dark energy or dark matter, for example. We can't necessarily verify it because just the way it interacts. That should be expected. We can't necessarily verify it, but you could still say it's first of all possible for its existence, and it's highly likely that it exists because of how it interacts with stuff. But okay,
right.
Besides that, we're just going to be running around. Can I just get to my argument?
Right. No, we see the interactions with dark energy and everything like that. Like we see the universal interactions, right? That's
Do
how
you believe dark energy exists?
Verify it. Yeah, there's proof, there's evidence of it. Yeah.
Do you believe it exists? I'm talking about on a personal level.
Like it's Eli. Hold on. Everybody pause real quick. Eli, do me a favor. If we're gonna have a conversation, I'm gonna need you to not do that. Because I wasn't. Hold on. Stop. It's not my partner. Me and him are not tied to the hip. I'm not married to this nigga. So don't say it's my partner. Stop. I wasn't rude to you. I was trying to have a conversation with you. If we're gonna have a conversation, don't do that.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So when it comes to things like dark matter and dark energy, from what we can see from like the models and what physics say, right? These things do exist, but energy is more a property of a system. From what we see from dark energy, it's interacting with the universe, right? So that's what we would describe as dark energy. We just don't really know what it is yet. But I'm not sure if this is analogous to God or not. Is God interacting with the universe the same way dark energy is? Is that what your argument is going to be about? I would say necessarily
interacting in the same way, but I would say it's still analogous.
All right, cool. So what how do we get there?
Because it's something that we can't necessarily see in itself, but we see the effects of it, or you could make a through logical reasoning could say this exists.
Okay, cool.
There's multiple ways to get to if something exists. You could
all right, cool. So go ahead and gotcha. What's the way for God?
There's three premises. Pretty simple argument. It will start with I believe complexity does exist. You would agree, right?
Yeah. Sure.
It's simply, I'll say complexity is existing in parts.
God, we've just regressed back to like the 17th century with the complexity argument. But go ahead, Eli.
Yeah, sure.
Have fun.
But I haven't seen That's what I'm saying. I'm using an old argument. I just said this was commonly used.
And you
argument.
think it's still valid? You think it hasn't been?
I haven't seen a valid refutation without using
you're kidding, right? You haven't heard of the Kitzmiller?
No, let me get to the argument.
Hold on, yeah, pause. Knuckles, let me get through all of it, and then we can go ahead and respond because you're probably better at me in this philosophy field than I am. So I'll let you respond, and I think Trill might have a thing to say.
The second premise is probably where we're going to disagree. So do you think complexity, something to exist complex, is logically necessary for something to exist? Does something have to exist complex?
So that's a good question. I don't think.
Do you
so.
mind if I ask?
So your first premise is complexity exists.
Yeah,
and
simple as that.
What would be your second premise? Things that exist are complex, or did I get that wrong?
My second premise was if complex. It's really less. It's a premise, but also I like to ask a question to see your opinion, because where I go with my argument would depend on your answer. Okay, so it'd be that complexity isn't logically necessary for existence. Where to me make it less ambiguous, it would simply mean that if something exists, does it have to be complex? If it has to be complex. So complexity isn't necessary for existence. Really?
Yeah, I guess. And I mean, because single cell organisms aren't really complex. Well, compared to us, they're not really complex, but they still exist. So yeah, okay. So complexity exists. Complexity isn't necessary for existence. Okay.
Yeah, I rarely got granted that one. So premise 3, I've never really made it to premise 3 before because we always argue over premise 2. Premise 3 would be because complexity isn't logically necessary for existence. I don't know if you were referring to logically necessary or not. You can elaborate. What do you mean by if you were granting me that, do you believe complexity is logically necessary?
I'm not sure what that would mean. Do you understand what that means, Knuckles?
I can elaborate.
Complexity is a very ambiguous concept. It's actually a nebulous concept in this respect. I mean, does he mean like in the world of physics? Does he mean in the world of biology?
It can refer to almost any. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's referencing the creationist viewpoint from like the 1700s.
We can reference the world.
But you're not. But again, I mean, but this just goes to show how you're just arguing fallaciously right out the gate. Like you're just using words.
What's the fallacy?
Well, you're using words that are very ambiguous that aren't clearly defined. That's why you have to keep asking us questions.
I would specify it. No. The reason why I use ambiguous words.
Can I demonstrate why I use? So. What do you mean by complexity, and what do you mean by existence? To be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Complexity. Just
right. So let's I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and go back to number 2 because you said this is where you get stuck at. All right. So Knuckles was asking, what do you mean by complexity? I'm kind of assuming what you mean.
Parts. It has parts.
But it has parts. Okay.
Yeah.
So complexity means it has parts. Now, when you say complexity isn't logically necessary for existence. That does sound I don't want to say word salad, but I don't understand how you're I don't understand how you're putting those words together. When you say logically necessary for existence,
what does that
part? What does that mean? Yeah.
So when I mean logically necessary for existence, something in existence have to have parts, is all I'm saying. Something that exists doesn't have to have parts. Yes.
What are you saying? You're not saying anything.
Knuckles, answer the question.
You're not saying anything. Clearly, yes.
What are you talking about?
Everything has parts.
What part did I say that doesn't make sense?
You're starting from a very ambiguous place, and you're going to define your way down to what you actually mean. This is nonsense. It's nonsensical.
No, Knuckles, because it can reference multiple stuff. That's why I use ambiguous language, because it can work multiple ways.
This is typical intelligent design propaganda from like the 1700s.
Knuckles, you're just saying it's propaganda. You've not made a valid point.
It is propaganda.
There is no contention.
The United States already went through this.
That's your whole contention. Is no.
The United States already went through this. We've had a case about it.
I remember that Miller versus Doe. I remember that. Can I pause me real quick because I actually wanted to answer. There's something in existence have to have parts, not necessarily because of elementary particles. Elementary particles don't have parts. That's just it. Once you get to gluons. Actually, yeah, gluons. Once you get to like leptons, gluons, electrons, that's it. They don't have parts. Like that's it. the elementary particle. So does something in existence have to have parts? Not necessarily, no.
Okay, so then we can move on to premise 3. So this is with premise 3. I never made it to this part, but okay, because complexity isn't logically necessary. Can you agree with that? Well, this is based off our whole argument. If you were not tracking, this is an issue. We just went through this. I just want you to grant.
I'm tracking. I'm tracking. Yeah. Okay, so complexity isn't logically necessary, and what you mean by logically necessary for existence is, does it have to have parts for it to exist?
Yeah, logically necessary in this instance would mean that does it have to have parts?
Does it have to have parts for it to exist? Yeah. Well, elementary particles exist and they don't have parts. They're just they just are. Okay, so because no, you don't necessarily need parts to exist because of elementary particles. So premise 3, because it's not necessarily logically necessary, like things don't need to have parts for them to exist, like elementary particles. What's next?
Yeah, so following that, because stuff can exist and it doesn't have to necessarily have parts, that means there's two. This is where the argument, I've not even made this. I don't even know how I want to word this, but I'll word it like this. So because that means there's two options, something that could exist complex and something that could exist more simplified or more simple. Because of that, if it exists complex, it implies there was a choice made because there's not a logical necessity for it. Now,
all right. So because complexity is not logically necessary, complexity
and it exists,
then implies
there was a choice for complexity to exist.
Choice. Okay. All right, so that's where I'm gonna have a problem because like that's not necessarily true. But I want Knuckles to go ahead and get in on it. Go ahead, Knuckles. What did you want to say?
I feel like I've already kind of said it. I mean, you've made several leaps in logic.
Yeah, what's the leap?
This entire thing is really just kind of like an exercise in begging the question because you've already presupposed that there's some kind of a designer. And
I didn't presuppose there was a designer. I presupposed that there was a design, which we already demonstrated how there is a design because complexity exists, but it doesn't necessarily have to exist. Then why does it exist? How do you presuppose
there's a design but you don't have priors to understanding like life in general?
What?
You don't have any priors. You don't have any there's no priors for you to build any kind of probability off of like understanding how life.
I'm not building probability. You don't have to give an exact numerical value to if something's probable or not. If it could exist, it could exist. If it can't exist, it can't exist. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's just baby-brained. That's just baby-brained. I mean, that's why he asked you earlier, you can use the same kind of logic to justify the existence of unicorns, dragons. Like you're in the same realm as those people.
But then it would be fallacious. You would find out it's fallacious.
You're also making fallacies
because don't unicorns and dragons exist in parts?
The one fallacy you're employing right now would be the fallacy of composition. I think, in my opinion. So, but you've jumped, but you've gish galloped so many times.
Elaborate.
It's just difficult. It's difficult to digest your word salad. So I'm going to order a side of shrimp, and I'm just going to wait.
Elaborate how I done fallacy of composition.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into it now. You said because things become more and more complex, therefore that implies a choice. That's not what I said. I said because that complex stuff doesn't necessarily have to exist, yet still does. It implies there's a choice for it to exist. I disagree with that.
Okay, so why do you disagree?
Wait, how does it imply there's a choice being made? You're not because if it any sense.
Because that part. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. How does it imply that?
Yeah, because if something doesn't have to exist, or if it doesn't have to be that way, yet it is that way, that means there's some external factor causing it to be that way.
Well,
right.
Dude,
so that external factor.
What?
So I'm sorry.
Let me. Doesn't have to exist, but you come across a waterfall. And you say to yourself, it doesn't have to exist, but the fact that it's there in front of me, therefore somebody put it there?
Actually, no. This is a better argument.
That's what I was going to get to. Yeah.
Now he's just gonna go back.
You can use that argument.
Edit what he's saying. Like this is just like a waste of time.
Okay, if let's
say hold on, give me a second. That's what I was gonna say. Wait, hold on. Yeah. I got you, but let me just make it a little stronger, right? Because you already said there's some external factor that made it that way. The issue with your assumption is that you're assuming that it is a conscious will or agent that for that certain factor and not a natural process that is not yet understood or that we can explain. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So when you say some natural process that causes complexity to exist, we already demonstrated that there is no natural process could cause complexity to exist within an already complex world. Because if there is no complex world or complexity, because we already demonstrated that something exists, which we would say the universe. If the universe doesn't have to exist complex, then there can't be no process, because for a process to occur, you would assume parts exist. But if parts don't exist, can a process occur?
You come on with that assumption.
What? Which one?
The assumption that basically complexity cannot come outside of a complex world.
Oh no. Well, that'll be illogical to say complexity can exist within a simple world. Then it's not. It won't be the complex world. That'll just be illogical. I mean, if you can demonstrate how it's logical, I like for you to do that. But if something exists complex, then you would expect complexity within it. But if it exists simple, if it's simple, you can't have complexity within something that's simple, because then it wouldn't be simple, it would be complex. It's simple as that.
But oftentimes we find that things that we believe are simple are actually
Knuckles, you haven't made a valid point yet, dude. You just complain.
Bro, you keep reusing the same words, like you're hyperfixating on one term. Like
we could use multiple terms. That's why I use ambiguous language, so we can go through different words.
You use ambiguous language because you're arguing fallaciously. That's why.
It's not fallacious, dude.
And you have a confirmation bias.
Okay, demonstrate how
you have a superstition. You have
demonstrate how you use the composition fallacy earlier.
You have a superstition, right? And it's governing
Knuckles,
every thought
made a
process you have on this topic.
Get to your point.
Dude, you are just repeating the rhetoric of intelligent design proponents from yesteryear.
You got a bias.
That's all you're doing.
You have a bias, Knuckles. Your whole argument is no.
So now you're
biased.
just repeating what I'm saying to you. Like, you are like, this is like 101 arguing fallaciously, bro. Either you're trolling us or you're just completely
what's the fallacy in repeating
stupid.
what I say to you? What's that fallacy? Which one's that called?
So now you're asking me to specifically to be pedantic about the fallacy I'm
Knuckles,
calling out?
You just don't want to engage in the argument because you know you can't defeat it.
No,
you don't want to engage in the argument because
you
know you can't defeat it.
You're just proving my
engage
point.
In the argument, Knuckles. Prove me wrong.
The more you speak, you're just proving
not
my
engaging.
point. The more you speak, bro.
You're not engaging.
It's fucking.
All right, let's try to bring it back. Let's try to bring it back.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's try to bring it back. All right. So, let's go through through this again, because Trill.
We can go through premise 2 again. We can go through the whole thing if you want.
Yeah. Trill was saying that. Okay. So complexity exists. You define complexity as things that exist that has parts. All right. Complexity isn't logically necessary for existence, and when you say that, you mean does something have to have parts for it to exist?
Yeah.
We know about fundamental elementary particles. They don't have parts; they just are. So they just exist, right? So it's not necessarily things can exist and not be made up of any other parts. Now you say because complexity isn't because things can exist, because complexity is not necessary to existence. Because they become complex, that implies a choice. So that's where we ran into a problem, right? Because I say it doesn't necessarily have to imply a choice, because these could be natural processes that we don't understand. Like, for example, I was going to say when it comes to the quantum.
We're about to go off of the tangent, or it would be I stopped you there. Then when I kind of got interrupted, I mentioned processes. You said a natural process. If the universe exists in a simplified form, there is no natural process that can make it complex, because it exists simple. It doesn't have parts. For a process to occur, you have parts.
Whatever you have for that, though, you just made that up.
No. If something exists, wait, which one I made up? Because there's two.
The part where you said that because if something's simple, it can't exist in a complex world, then
no, that's not what I said. I said if something's simple, a process can't occur.
Yeah, that's
so. If something is simple, but yeah, that's untrue.
Like that's
it would have to be something external.
That's untrue. But yeah, it would there would have to be something like that's what I was going to get to, like the quantum foam. Well, we see elementary particles popping in and out of existence all the time, and in the quantum foam, right? That's a process that's happening, but it's like it's only simple elementary particles that exist in the quantum foam. So, but it's still a process happening.
Yeah, with the simple, with those simple particles ever become complex particles?
Yeah, but here's the fallacy you're doing. This is called God of the Gaps theology. Now you're saying
no, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's completely reasonable. Okay, Can I answer? Knuckles, you asked the question earlier. I didn't answer. I feel bad because I didn't answer your question.
It must
Knuckles,
be
can I answer your
external.
question?
It must be external. Now we're talking about something where what you're talking about just doesn't exist, right? So
can I demonstrate how it has to be a choice?
In and out of existence in the quantum foam, but you would say it has to be external, but really, it's just intrinsic to the properties of that quote unquote system we're looking at. But then you would say we don't have all the information about it. Why is an insignificant question? This is again,
intrinsic?
You're just
yes,
showing
it is significant.
You're just showing your weird bias for superstition because you're asking
why
a
is it
why
superstition?
Question. Because you're asking a why.
This
question.
is a bunch of presuppositions. You're superstitious. You're biased.
Dude, now you're just throwing out words that have nothing to do with what I'm saying. I'm not presupposing anything. I'm saying what we know is what we know, and that's what we know. And then if you ask a question about why or what came before it or what's more fundamental, the answer is we don't know. And then you're just going to stick a guy.
Yeah, you can be disingenuous and say you don't know
that's
why.
That's not disingenuous. It's exactly what's happening here.
No, I'm saying you could be disingenuous. I'm not saying me.
So
I've answered every single question y'all had multiple times and gave thought out answers.
So you claim to have knowledge that no human ever has in this world.
This is a 1,500-year-old argument, dude, and it hasn't been refuted.
And we're trying to update your nonsense to today's day and age.
How come you haven't refuted yet? All you said is just, I'm biased.
We don't have
your
to.
Whole argument
Science
is I'm
has already refuted your bullshit. This is ridiculous.
What the science? We didn't know. How did science refute something we didn't know?
Oh my
all right.
God.
So hold on. Everybody pause. Everybody pause. You said that this hasn't been refuted. What are we not refuting? Because again, you're simply saying that for something to become more complex, it implies a choice. But again, that's not necessarily true. There are natural processes that exist that we may not understand.
Then I just
now you're simply saying that, right? Yeah, but you're
what did I say about
you said that if something. You're saying that processes have to exist within something complex, but that's not true either.
Really?
Because we see in the quantum foam where it's basically a true vacuum where we can get to a nothing, particles popping in existence all the time. That's a process happening, but it's in a complete
because it's
total
existing
vacuum
within a complex, something already complex. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. Let's just say the universe.
So your assumption is that your assumption is that the universe had to be simple at one point, or what are you?
My
assuming?
assumption is there's a logical possibility for the universe to be simple, but it doesn't exist simple.
Wait, can you provide?
Did anyone understand that?
That is complex?
For a logical possibility exists, you would entail you have the burden of proof of showing a logical inconsistency within a simple universe. I wouldn't have the burden of
what?
Proof. If something's logically possible, I don't have the burden of proof to say it's logically possible. You do realize that, right?
But everything is logically possible.
Exactly. Everything is logically possible until you demonstrate how it's logically
no one has the burden of proof.
Possible. And whenever you say if something is logically possible, that's a proposition that you have to prove. That's
by it being no logical inconsistencies.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm really confused. What is happening?
Nothing.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all.
Wait, I got a question.
Yeah, I'm really confused.
Wait, if something doesn't have any logical inconsistencies, doesn't that mean it's logically possible?
Yeah, but you just agreed.
Yeah, so you proved my point. You agreed with me. Knuckles, you just agreed with me. Knuckles, you just agreed with me. I don't have to further argue this. Next question.
Ridiculous.
But
next question, Knuckles. I'm not gonna repeat my answer.
Hey, y'all. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this has gotten like beyond ridiculous, and I gotta get to sleep. I got work tomorrow, so
no, I feel you.
I'm gonna go ahead and end it off here. But y'all come back Friday. Unfortunately, I'm not here. I'm gonna be having my America Was Never Great debate all over on Coco's channel. So follow the Controversial Compass. I'm gonna be over on that channel. Debating that, and on Saturday I'll be back here and I'll have the call-in number so we can go ahead and do all that. All right, but for now I appreciate y'all. And
you be
y'all
safe,
have a
dude.
good night. All right, be safe.